What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Buffalo Commander. I'm your host, Alex. This is Buffalo Black Wednesday. We had numerous cuts today. I actually changed my shirt just now, 5 minutes ago, hoping that maybe some more information will come out because things have been happening. Boom, boom, boom. We had a ton of people all at one time get hit. So, and then when I came back, Tre White was cut. So I want to go into the implications of all this. So first and foremost, Mitch Morse being cut. There's a lot of questions about this online. Mitch Morse being cut saved us $7 million, $8 million. I didn't expect it, but I guess they thought it was necessary. There was one or two options that the Bills were going to do, and that was cut a bunch of people and then restructure a couple, like Josh Allen, Deion Dawkins, or they were going to restructure a couple. And they were going to restructure a ton of people and then cut just a few. So it looks like they've chosen the former, where they want to restructure a couple and cut a bunch. So the first one is Mitch Morse. Per Ian Rappaport, right after it happened, this is a big question with a lot of people, and I guess that's why it came out, was I guess the Bills told him that Connor McGovern's now going to play center, and David Edwards, who we just extended and just re-signed, is going to play left guard. So what we're seeing is a shift, so to speak. So David Edwards played left guard for the world champion Los Angeles Rams 2 years ago. And McGovern, I think, played center a little bit in college. I don't remember him ever playing center in the pros, but he's getting intel that Connor's going to shift from left guard to there, and David Edwards is going to fill in left guard. They're both 26. I think they're good ages. The amount of money they're costing is a positive here. David Edwards is pretty cheap. I think it's $3 million, $2.75 million a year. And then we have McGovern making, I think, $6 million, something like that. So nothing too crazy. We're basically replacing Mitch Morse with McGovern, and hopefully the transition can be smooth, similar to Connor Williams, who also played for the Cowboys in the past and came over to the Dolphins. And then they switched him from left guard to center. So I'm guessing they see something in it. They've tried him out in the past as an emergency and said, hey, we can make this work. So that's the plan. That's the one everybody's worried about. Two relatively insignificant cuts. Deontay Hardy and Nyheim Hines have been cut. Ryan Bates was traded for the first pick in the 5th round, which is great value for a backup player. And I thought that signaled that we were going to keep Mitch Morse. That's what it meant. And then letting Alec Anderson be the backup. But I guess their idea is to get rid of Mitch Morse and let McGovern slide over, and then let Alec Anderson be the backup to him. So we probably signed some vet depth in free agency that's pretty cheap. This tells me they don't want to end up like the New Orleans Saints or what the Dolphins look like right now. But the Dolphins are starting to cut players, so maybe they're out of that too. But what this looks like is we don't want to get in cap trouble in the future. We know we made some mistakes potentially with Von Miller, and now we're beholden to keeping maybe Steph Diggs longer than maybe anticipated, given the relationship situation. I don't know, and maybe that's overblown, but I'm just throwing out hypotheticals at this point. So what I'm seeing currently is a kind of like a culture shift with how they're going to manage this. We've gone down the road too much. We're not kicking any more money down the road, or not any money that we don't know is going to be here for 4 or 5 years, aka Josh Allen or maybe Deion Dawkins or Ed Oliver, something like that, right? So it looks like that's the plan going forward. We also cut Jordan Poyer, which was a surprise, I guess. I thought he would stay here for another year. He has one more year in the deal. He had juice left. He played better than Hyde did last year. I thought that he played good enough in the role he played, filling in at linebacker at times, playing in the box a lot. I thought he had enough juice to do that. So I thought he would stay, and he didn't. So maybe they bring him back on a cheap vet deal. I don't know, but we're going to find out in the next 4 or 5 days. I'm guessing they'll let him test the market and bring him back if they need him. My guess is Taylor Rapp comes back as the box safety, and then Poyer maybe gets brought back, but most likely they're going to go find a vet safety because the vet safety market's massive. So with a lot of supply, you know what that means? Prices drop. So with all these different safeties in there, we're probably going to see a price drop on safeties, and they're going to be cheaper in this market than they would originally if there was like 3 or 4 guys. And there are a lot of good, solid safeties that are in their mid to late 20s that I think McDermott can take and kind of extrapolate what he already has into something maybe bigger and maybe not all pro, like all pro Poe or all pro Micah Hyde, but maybe into a situation where, they end up being perennial Pro Bowlers or something. And maybe Rapp is another guy they see as being someone who can fill in the box pretty well, and they can work together and grow together since he's only 26 years old. But they're obviously looking for their next Hyde and Poyer. I don't think it's going to be a rookie. I don't think there's many first-round safeties available, if at all, maybe one with Tyler Newman. But I don't think that they want to put someone in that role who is not a seasoned vet to some extent. They're not going to, it's a leadership role. It's like putting a new middle linebacker out there. Most teams don't just throw middle linebackers in there unless they're super uber elite. So I don't see that happening. I think it's going to be 2 vet safeties, a cheaper one like Rapp, and then another one maybe a little bit higher priced, especially since we might be saving more money than we originally thought now with more cuts than expected. And then we're probably going to bring in either some sort of solid vet like a David Edwards type to come in, be a backup swing guard kind of position. And then they're going to run with Connor McGovern, it sounds like, at center, which is crazy. But if that's what they think and they trust it and Josh Allen signs off on it, I'm good. So that's not a huge issue to me. Tre White going down, I kind of expected it. I didn't think that he would be he had lost so much of a step, I should say. I don't want to say what he might have been, but with that injury, it's just, with an Achilles injury, it really does just zap your athleticism. It's not like an ACL. Like ACLs take longer to come back from, but you can get back to the same, where just like I said, like Achilles just you don't recover the same way. Like you lose your athleticism on your explosiveness. And a guy who's already not very explosive, like what do you do with him? And he's not a safety fit. He's not a great tackler. He's not ultimately a very physical player. I just don't see him being a free safety. And they probably just saw it and said, we can save $10 million with a post June 1 cut, and ultimately that's really what we're talking about, is the savings you get on a post June 1 being $10.2 million versus 6.2 in the pre. We can't realize those savings yet, right? So until June 1, we don't realize the $10 million savings. So we don't get any savings right now for that, but we get more down the road. And when we're talking about signing draft picks and late-term free agents and late in the cycle, some of these vets that carry on later, like a Floyd last year, we need that money and we need more of it. And now we get to split up the dead cap hit between this year and next year. That's all that means. So we get more money realized this year. We'll take on a little dead cap next year, not a lot, but a little bit. And we'll save more money overall on the cap this year versus the $6 million we could have saved by realizing the savings now before June 1. So that's essentially in a nutshell what that means. So we designate him post June 1. He can go look for a team, but we don't see the savings until then. I need to look at the calculations on the comp picks. Think might be realizing some comp pick bingo here and getting some picks out of this next year potentially. I'm thinking. I think the picks for this year are already set, but for next year, I think that's when we can realize that. And I think this is going to be beneficial to that scenario because we're losing more than we're probably gaining on paper. So that's the other piece of it. So I don't see, I wasn't that surprised with Tre White. A lot of people were like, oh my God, I can't believe the first draft pick by McDermott is gone. But I don't see it that way. He let Poyer and Hyde go. Hyde's going to retire and Poyer's going to be gone. This is the second time he let Poyer go technically. So this is a business. This is how it goes. Just to break down again, Tre White being gone, not surprising. Rasul Douglas was re-signed and extended today. He takes the CB1 spot. Christian Benford's been great at CB2. He stays. Kyrie Elam rolls into CB3. Disappointment that he's going to be a CB3 at this point, but we got lucky with Christian Benford and Rasul Douglas, so we don't need him to be more than CB3. Morse going. Connor McGovern steps in, and then David Edwards slides over left guard. We're going to fill in some probably a vet guard in behind them. And then Deontay Hardy being gone is not a big deal. We're going to get a receiver in the draft anyway, and somebody else will end up returning kicks, and Naheem Hines. So that was, he didn't play last year, so that's not a huge deal for us either. So I think it'll be okay. That's what I'm trying to say. And at the end of the day, like, what we're seeing here is a transition for the Buffalo Bills into a younger team that can last longer into the future. And this team can still win a Super Bowl this year if we do the right things in the offseason. And I think we're clearing up for that now. We're just strapping ourselves less for the future. And we're just going to have some unknowns going into the season that we may not have had to deal with if we kept some of these players. So really, it's more about the unknown. And that can be scary sometimes. So as Bills fans, I think we'll be fine. And I think that we're well equipped to fill all these spots. We'll have more money than we originally thought and less restructures by the way that they're doing it. I just didn't believe that they would go this route. So this is what it looks like. And I think that we will have more freed up cash after they're done with their transactions. And then we'll be able to move forward better into the future also. So it's a good thing ultimately. It's just like taking your medicine early to realize the benefits versus waiting on it and then letting it turn into something worse down the road. As long as we have Josh Allen, we have a Super Bowl window open, and these moves are helping us with that going forward, so we're not so cash strapped going forward. So anyhow, I'll report back if anything else happens. I'm sure something else happens since Buffalo seems to be just shooting out different deals and trades and cuts and everything else right now. It seems like they're going through their list and just shoving it to Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport and saying, post it. This is what's happening. We're going to be under the cap. I guarantee you by tomorrow, this is what I think. We're going to be under the cap and have a ton of cap space because they're going to restructure Josh and restructure Dion next, along with maybe some more cuts. So we'll see how that goes. Thanks for joining. Please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate all the support. And I'll see you guys next time at the Buffalo Commander. Thanks.